What's up, everybody, and welcome to the LittleBigKast. We are 4 players searching for that elusive game-life balance. On today's show, Robin's out on adult business.
Adult business?
It's true.
Dirty.
Glenn guest hosts.
Hey,
And bring
Glenn,
pot
welcome.
roast.
Yeah.
Rachel rear ends a vehicle.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Jeff reveals a dark secret that I do
Yes.
actually regret a lot, and I
Won't
feel a lot of
tell
guilt about.
anyone.
And Drew spends a few nights with the Frog Prince.
Yeah, hot.
It's episode 86, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the
Welcome.
LittleBigKast. That's not what this podcast is about. We're about important stuff like video games.
I played some video games.
I played
Did
a
ya?
bunch of video games.
Well, good
All right,
for
well
you
then let's kick it
guys.
off. So, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the LittleBigKast. My name is Jeff Hawks. I'm happy to be here hosting the show today with 3 of my best friends. First of all, Miss Rachel Hernandez.
Hi, guys.
Hi, welcome.
Hey,
Yay.
Mr. Drew Tyler.
Hi, everybody.
And Glenn has decided to grace us with his presence again,
That's
and his
right.
meatloaf.
Pot roast.
Pot
Hot
roast, sorry.
roast.
It's meat.
Meatloaf
It's a big
is
old stick of
not
meat. We love
pot
it.
roast.
I had a girlfriend in high school that her family, they're
call
very
it
like upper class. Like, I mean, there
They
are
never
parks
mixed
in
up.
Utah named after their family. There are ice cream companies named after
Oh,
their family,
right.
and
Oh, the
jewelry
bars.
companies, something like that.
That's big.
I wasn't gonna name names.
Way to go,
But-
Glenn.
They
Beep it
they
out.
thought that meatloaf sounded too plebeian, and so they
Yeah.
called it
Yeah.
pate boeuf.
Oh.
And so now I can't eat meatloaf without being like,
Well,
man, it does
little
kind of
pate
sound
boeuf.
gross.
I've
Like,
been
think
learning
about
how to make
meatloaf.
pate, and it's basically it's just French meatloaf. You just put a bunch of meat in with a bunch of fat and cook
Pate
it.
boeuf.
So,
Really? Really?
I don't know. The phrase, I don't know, just the name meatloaf does sound kind of
I don't know.
gross.
Pate
Meatloaf.
boeuf
A
sounds worse
loaf
to
of
me.
meat, like if someone was like, here's
Pate.
my loaf of meat.
Check out my loaf.
Check out my loaf of meat, bro.
Yeah, I know
don't know,
you were
kinda weird.
checking it out
It always
earlier.
looked kind of
Anyway,
weird to me.
Anyway, what have you guys been doing?
I have not done much of anything. I'd like to do a little more of something.
Okay.
But so far, I haven't done much of anything. Let's see. What have I done? I'll start off. My week's been pretty normal, average. You know, school. I actually graded a few papers today, 4 weeks in, so that's good. I'm caught up, feeling good about that. Still making that ebook for my wife's thesis. So I'm still coding HTML5 and have no idea what I'm doing, but it's working. My deadline is like in 2 days. And then game-wise, I told you last week that we got into The Last of Us and then we had to pull out again. It was like too much for us. It was like, we're done.
That's right.
So we decided to grab the Hearts of Stone expansion on Witcher. That was
Nice.
a good game for us, and so we threw down for the expansion pass, and we've been playing Hearts of Stone, which the very beginning part, it's just kind of a fun little story, and you end up running into a demon underneath the I think it's Oxford, in the sewers of Oxford, and it's like, somebody keeps killing people. We'll go find out what it is. You go down there, and this giant slimy toad is there, and so you fight it, and it took me like 3 nights of fighting the toad
Wow.
to figure out how to do it, because I had to start a new game. You're supposed to be able to take your character into it and like move forward.
Right.
But somewhere in my retardedness,
No.
I played through, like, after I beat the game so I could start a new game plus, I played through the prologue, which even though I'm level 32, it
Do you not
didn't
have-
recognize it it was like, you need a game that's been completed, because I'd already played through the prologue where you come out of the Kaer Morhen or whatever. So I just kind of like, I think I just played too far.
Do you have an old save then?
And I can go back to like before I beat the game and probably pick that up. I think I could do that.
Oh, that's
but,
frustrating.
But we picked up a new guy at 32, and so it took me a while. I got to redistribute all the ability points, which was nice, because then I could like really focus on what I wanted
Spec
to
it
do.
out better.
And that worked out
Because
well.
that's I feel like the first like
Few.
quarter of the game
You're trying
is
to
like
figure
you're
stuff
figuring
out.
out what
What
the hell
do
you're
I do?
doing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so you make some like initial decisions that are like, I didn't mean to put points
Right.
on that.
I use my sword.
So to have like 40 ability points and to be like, okay, this goes here and this goes here, that helped out. And then after you kill the prince, no spoilers, but this is a spoiler. After you kill the prince Toad, he is a prince, and the guys that
You
are
do
there
it.
to
It's like
like
the
find
Frog
him,
Prince.
yeah, somebody that's
Okay.
there to find him finds you killing him, and they take you back to go kill you, because so you become a captive and you're taken off to a new land. That's how you get out of the like Velen in that
Oh,
area.
cool.
And
So
then
it
you go-
unlocks a whole new.
So then
map.
you're into a whole new map and a whole new area. So
So I was told
I
that
got stick it.
I
got
was told
stuck
that
right.
this DLC was as large as Witcher 2.
It's 10 hours gameplay is what I know. This one's about 10
It
hours.
doesn't
seem
seem
that
as
big.
large. It doesn't seem as
The one
big.
that's coming up, the next one is a 20-hour
Is that-
pack.
Oh, okay.
So
is that-
maybe the combined
that one.
expansion.
Is that just
or the-
direct missions without side missions and
Yes,
stuff? 10 hours?
yes. And you can still go back and do a lot of the side missions even from the first one if you didn't.
Do they have
That's
side? Do you have the
substantial, I
side
guess.
missions though within,
I think so, yeah.
like
I haven't,
within the new area?
I think so.
Okay.
I haven't quite got
Alright.
there yet because again I got stuck when these guys, I don't know if they were like what ethnicity because it's a fictional world, but as you break out of like on your way to their country, you break out of the boat or something, and I'm still trying to fight them and I can't win. So I get stuck quite a bit, but that's what we're enjoying right now.
Absolutely.
It is our time together to play. It's me and Peach. That's it.
So have you not played? So I wasn't here last week, and I heard you mention that you had started The Last of Us.
Yeah,
Ooh, I just
so
burped.
last
Red
week-
Bull burp. Sorry, everyone.
That was really good.
Couldn't be helped.
So the recap on that is we got through the first couple, maybe an hour or so, where you get to the Capitol building with Ellie, and then you
and then
you have to like keep going with her. We got that far, and Stace was like, "Not for me, sorry, too gory."
It
I was
is
like,
pretty gory.
Yeah, and a lot of F words and stuff. And I was like, the
gets-
story was
it gets
intense.
worse.
Was she really sensitive about the very beginning, like the opening?
I wouldn't say really sensitive. It was just that we
I
both
thought
were
that
like
one
we
would
hate
get her
zombies
the
anyway,
most.
and so it was kind of
It's
like
not zombies, though.
I know,
they're-
right? It's like mutated people.
You gotta
those
let
kinds of
yourself
things.
believe they're
Yes.
not zombies,
Yes.
Drew, and then you'll
well,
like
no,
the game.
I think
That's
I'm
why
gonna finish it. I'll get in there and finish it. But I think that the first night she couldn't go to sleep because she kept having these horror dreams that like, and it wasn't clickers. It was just, what am I gonna do in the apocalypse? Like when things go down, what am I gonna do with my kids? How do I get them out of the house? That kind of stuff, and that really like freaked her out. So we're gonna stick with The Witcher for a bit. But other than that, I did try the Division beta. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'll
Cool.
see what else. What are you guys doing? What are you doing?
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, what are you
Oh,
doing?
I'm
Like, you
sleeping.
sleep?
I
Traveling
played
the
lots of
country?
games. I went to LA and back today.
Wow.
Nice.
That was fun.
Jet
No
setter.
big deal.
No big
You know.
deal.
As like
do you feel
standby
like you-
or
Did you get out of the
it was
airplane?
work.
Do you
I
feel
was
like a
scheduled.
time traveling wizard some days?
Right, I was
When you
just
like-
in Boston,
when you
and
like-
now I'm
Yeah.
in LA.
Right. Oh, it was this time when I left.
Well, I was delayed 2 hours, so I wasn't sure how.
You got caught up to
when
yourself?
I'd get back in to town for this thing or not, but that was it.
Here he
I've been
is.
playing lots of games. Played lots of Metal Gear Solid. I started.
You made a lot of progress there. It's kind of frustrating actually.
I get.
it's
Well,
frustrating when I like tell you about a game after I'm like 12 hours in and then you like way past me and I'm like, he's got a cooler arm than me. This sucks.
I don't know. I was just so what I've been doing is I'll play a mission and then I get frustrated because it takes a lot of patience and I don't have a lot of patience.
What?
It's
It does.
true.
Yeah.
What?
And so I'll have to quit after I beat a mission and then I'll go like watch. I've been watching Cheers all the way through again
Nice.
It's a good
because
one.
I
It's good.
finished Frasier.
Talk about
so-
an iconic theme song.
right?
I know. It's,
Nobody can hear that without just being
I don't
taken
fast
right
forward
back to
through
Cheers.
those.
I didn't think of
those
it.
credits, opening credits,
Dun, da, 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 da,
where
dun,
everybody
dun.
knows your name.
Sometimes you wanna go.
Bum,
where
bum, bum.
Everybody knows your name.
Bum, bum, bum,
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm the child of this
always
group.
glad you came. I
always wanted to be
you wanna
Norm.
go where you can see.
I could be Norm.
Yeah, you could be
Cliff.
Norm.
You could be Cliff, the know-it-all
You don't know
guy
that
that just makes
song?
up
No.
words.
I like this.
I never
I like
watched
this.
Cheers. Sorry.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Should we do
Maybe we just
Comic Con next year? Let's do
We
Cheers
should do a Cheers
cosplay.
night.
Their fusion one.
Oh, that would be
I
awesome.
could totally be Norm.
I'll be Cliff.
We have our like Steins with us.
Let's do it. That would be fantastic.
Game on.
Leon could be Frasier.
Yes. Matter of fact. It's a fantastic idea, guys.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Right?
And I'll be the guy that I'll make a piano and I'll just walk around.
You'll play the song.
pretending to play the theme song. I'll just be singing the
bar
whole
sign
way
above
around.
your head and just be like, "Don't you know who
Just
we
says
are?"
cheers and I'm just singing the whole
Dun,
time.
dun, dun,
walking
dun.
around.
I like this idea.
Oh, that's funny.
This is where magic happens, my friends.
Yeah. And then what else? That was it. That's pretty much
It's your week.
lots of games. Oh, I'm moving.
His.
Woo.
That's right, Salt Lake, right?
Yeah,
Sad,
I'm moving
sad but good.
downtown.
Sad but good.
Instead of Ogden, downtown Salt Lake, got a beautiful warehouse loft. It was the apartment that got away, but now I have it back.
He
There
gets
you
it
go.
back. It's gonna be cool.
That's pretty sweet.
So,
So
So
I'm gonna
party
help.
at Glenn's house.
I'm gonna help
free
him
beer.
move.
Yeah.
Yep.
well, it's
Gonna-
always free beer at my place.
That's true. That's true.
Whee!
Free root beer for me
Root
too.
beer,
He
root
even
beer.
stocks his fridge for me.
With milk root beer?
No milk,
Dude,
no
that's
real milk.
weird.
Gross.
No real, but he does. He has chilled glasses in the freezer. Like,
Nice.
I could never get away with that. The kids would break them every time they open it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is living.
I also
the
have
life.
knives on my wall.
He has knives on the. He has things that are not kid friendly.
That's all right.
That's all right. It's
Like
good.
cooking knives and not
So
like
what about
some
you,
weirdo.
Rachel?
My life's okay. So my car broke down last time. Last
Heard
time we were
about
here, my
this.
car, and it was a
Boo.
starter. It's been replaced. It's all
And?
as well.
Good.
My dad let me borrow his car in the meantime. I rear-ended someone in my dad's
How
car.
bad was it?
Hi-yo.
It was pretty bad. Well,
Yeah?
it was.
Oh.
It did
Did
damage.
it
It
crumple?
took damage.
It took
no,
damage.
a little damage. Lights still work. Everything's good in the engine.
Oh, good.
Knock on wood. But it was body damage, and that just that
Was,
sucks.
how,
'cause
was
it
he
so
mad or was he
freaking
kind of
costs
like
money.
Yeah.
He was like,
I'm not mad. I'm
eh.
disappointed.
No,
Disappointing.
no,
That's
because
the
I've
stuff
been,
that happens,
I've
so.
been,
Yeah.
I'm the emotional thing, so everyone knows that if it just, I know I did bad. Don't rub it in, or else
Oh.
I will not stop
It's coming.
crying.
It's coming.
It's sick. So yeah, so that's been fun.
That's no
That's
fun. No,
been
it's no
so
fun.
much
There's
fun.
nothing like I'll never forget. Like I got in a wreck in my dad's truck when I was a teenager, and it wasn't my fault. A lady ran a red light. It was raining, slammed into me, and I spun a circle and then slammed into a house.
Oh, wow.
And like 100% not my fault. Like I took a chunk out of the house. Like the bricks went flying.
Oh,
It-
my. That just sounds fun.
It was bad. So
Like in a bad Dust
you know where
Causeway.
Washington High School is?
Yes.
So across the street, and then right over across the next street. So right across from Monroe on the southwest side corner.
Yeah, you
I
rebuilt
took
a house.
chunk of the house out of it with my truck. And calling my dad, I was like, I felt so guilty and I felt so bad. And I was like, this isn't even my fault. And I feel like
used to-
total shit. It was, yeah, so I feel you.
Well, this was my fault, and I was so stupid.
Feel
of
like a
me.
jerk.
It was just so stupid of me because it just could have
That's
all
life,
been
though.
avoided.
Yeah,
but
it
it
happens.
just sucks.
what
I don't think
insurance
my
is
bank account has ever drained quicker before in my life. And then it was the end of the month, and it was a sad time for Rachel.
And it was
sorry.
right as it always happens right as you feel like things are coming together. It's like
Right?
I've got enough
Yep.
money,
I
I
was
can do
like,
this, and then
"Ah,
there it goes.
man.
Right out the window.
Man.
I actually in college, I think I rear-ended 2 to 3 people. Like I did it more than my share.
Giggity, giggity.
Did you ever rear end someone and drive away?
No. I've always been very very good about it. But no, yeah, it was. I did a lot. I did a lot.
I
Felt
bumped
bad.
into someone. I'm going to share something I haven't shared anywhere else.
Spoiler.
I bumped into someone in a parking lot when I was living in an apartment complex, and it was in the downstairs, and I was like fully broke at the time that it happened, and I bumped him, and there was like this big indent, and I was like, "What the f am I gonna do? Like,
I can't
I'm
pay for
screwed."
that. I can't do
And I
that.
went and I parked somewhere else, and I went up and got a toilet plunger, and I pulled the dent out. Yes, I pulled it out, and then I just went upstairs and didn't tell anyone. But like you couldn't tell,
Right,
It,
right.
it looked legit. It looked fine. There was no paint damage. There was no damage. Like it was just like a.
That's awesome.
And I sucked it out.
Lucky.
But I have felt guilty about that moment. Every time I see a car with a dent in it, I'm like, I am a piece of shit.
no, but you fixed it though.
Yeah, you
right?
fixed it.
No harm,
I
no
fixed
foul.
it as best I could.
Right?
I literally was. I was
Nobody
at
could
the
tell.
point where I was like struggling to pay for food. No. And so like, it was a bad decision, but it was the only decision. It was the only close to like okay decision I could possibly make, because I was like, if I tell them and I
Right,
have to pay for
right.
this, I'm totally effed.
done.
And
I had a moment. I had a moment like that in college.
You did?
Yeah,
Like
I had the apartments across the street. I stayed late in one of their parking spots, and they used to put barrels on your car with a chain,
Mm-hmm.
and so they chained my car up, and so you have to pay $35 to get out, and it was like
That's
1 a.m.
nice.
and I was like, well, I don't really want to bother anybody, and I don't have $35, and so what am I gonna do? I crashed at my friend's house, and I was like, I don't want to. Well, his roommate was one of the sub managers or whatever, but he was out of town. But my friend knew where the keys were, and he's like, you can't just unbolt and leave, or else they'll know that it was you. They'll know that like how I was connected. So he gave me the keys. I went out, unlocked the barrel. This is a giant, like
Yeah.
big metal barrel. I unlocked it, took him back the keys, and then somehow fit that barrel in the back of my car and drove it like
Away.
4 or 5 miles away and dumped it. And I was like,
Nobody
got
ever-
away with it. Yeah,
You
nobody.
criminal.
I totally was proud. That's one of my many criminal stories.
In high school, I was at the grocery store and I backed into somebody. And so I got out to see what was going on. This lady was staring at me. So then I got out this piece of paper like I was writing my insurance information. And then when she drove off, I just got in my car and left.
Faked it.
We
hopefully
are
whoever-
evil.
yeah,
And
we're
I've
the
never
worst.
thought about it until now, Jeff.
So yeah, I mean seriously,
We're
it was
we're good people.
It was bad, but again, like the dent wasn't that bad in the first place, and it fully looked fine.
And it looked fine.
And
I once pulled out of my
would've done it.
garage and put a dent in my car, and I was like, honey, don't worry, I'm going to get the plunger. Couldn't do it.
the way that
Still
the
dented
dent,
to this day.
even the way that the dent looked, like originally, I was like, if someone did that to me, I wouldn't care. But I also drive piece of crap cars,
Right. It's
and
different.
so, but it looked normal. I still feel guilty about it every day.
Well, here's what happens.
Wish my life was that simple.
The next time somebody hits you, you just wave them off and say,
Oh,
you
I've
know
done
what?
that like 6 times.
Right? Yeah.
I've
thanks,
been
I
hit
got
by
it.
people in my little Ford Focus.
Really? That many?
Like 6 or 7 times where people just bump into me and I'm like, it's just a dent. And,
It's cool.
And a deer hit me in 2012 and it looks way worse than this. So like, it's whatever.
It's cool.
Yeah,
That's
I let
funny
it
you get
go.
hit that much.
That's funny. Yeah. Besides that, video game wise, I played. I played a little bit of Uncharted 2, not a whole ton. I'll probably get back into that. And my boyfriend loves Helldivers, so I have been playing.
I wanna play.
Oh, it was fun.
Helldivers.
Played
Yeah,
last
we
night.
played with Glenn. Played with Glenn for the first time last night. and it was-
Without mics, I hear? Or did you
No,
just,
we had mics.
You had
we
mics,
did
so you
it.
could hear
We
yourself?
were just using the PlayStation camera mic.
Yeah, we didn't have headphones on.
Oh,
I
right,
didn't
okay.
want to do that. Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad.
I feel like you almost need the communication though, especially because I didn't know what I was doing.
A little bit. Yeah, it was Glenn's first time. Just his first question was friendly fire turned on, so that made us
And then
chuckle.
I immediately shot Leon.
Can I do this? Bam, bam,
and
bam,
I'm
bam,
dead.
bam. Can I do
And
this?
I'm dead. So yeah, it was pretty fun. So that's what I've been playing.
That's good.
Besides
I
that,
want to play.
that's it. Yeah, you guys should.
I need to finish this project in a couple more, and then
We
I'll
all
get
gonna
done.
play. Yeah,
I did
it's-
download it though.
the
I was
more-
ready.
When you have a full team, then you can like conquer anything, and you all have to get kind of the
We could.
groove.
Is it 4
We
is the
could.
total?
I think so.
I think we
Yeah,
could
it's,
totally
it's
do
fun.
it.
I really like, I don't know. I like that game. It's fun.
Sweet.
Anyway,
what about
have
you,
I
Jeff?
been doing? I've been taking care of a sick kid. My Division beta got interrupted by a sick kid, which I was pretty upset about. But I did get to spend.
How much did you get in there?
I probably spent like 3 or 4 hours in the Division beta, and it was fantastic. So basically,
How far?
Are you lost?
No, you're fine. How far did you get through it?
so I
Story-wise?
spent about an hour and a half in the dark zone. So I
Oh.
spent a couple hours just in doing main missions and side quests, and then an hour and a half to 2 hours in the dark zone. And
I died in the dark
there are a
zone
couple of pros and a couple of cons.
in 30 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Did
didn't
you
make
just
it.
get ambushed by rogues? Or?
I just suck.
So, the
I-
dark zone is interesting. So, in the chats that I've had with some of my like Destiny crew, right?
Right, yeah,
we have
you're-
a group of people that we're playing together all the
Group,
time.
yeah.
Methane X, Render, a bunch of other people. Mr. Hefe's joined us for a couple of raids, but we've talked a lot about wishing that the PvP elements of a video game could coexist in a PvE environment. And this is something that we've been talking about for a long time. You know, this idea that like you can be in a PvP environment, and I think what actually got me thinking about that was Ready Player One, in the way that there are certain worlds that you go into with the understanding that like, hey, this is a dangerous
You are
area,
vulnerable. This could-
and
yeah.
if you get killed, you lose your loot, right? And so that's something that I've thought a lot about as I've played Destiny. Is like, man, how cool would it be if on patrol, when you run into a group of 12 other Guardians, you guys could battle it out in a PvP or a PvE zone. And that's basically what the Dark Zone is in Division. So you're
okay.
playing through, doing whatever you're doing in the PvE stuff, and then you decide, you make a decision, okay, I'm going to go into the Dark Zone. Once you step into the Dark Zone, it's kind of fair game all around.
Are there? There are factions. 'Cause I remember the way I died is I went in, I got hit real fast. I died, or something. I was on the ground crawling. Somebody came over and I saw the circle around me, kind of like lighting up. So I was like, oh, I'm doing good. I'm healing. Thanks, buddy. And then I saw somebody running a few seconds later, and so I shot him. It was the same guy that had healed me.
Aw, what a douche.
And so it said, you've gone rogue or something like that. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, I didn't know what I did. I didn't know I went rogue. And then it was over. Like, he turned around and killed me. It was, I can just see him swearing at him. So I'm just being like, you stupid. Yeah, so
Shotgun to the face.
I didn't last very long at all.
Yeah, so what's so cool about that though is in the Dark Zone is where you have the ability to get the highest powered weapons, like the very best loot in the game will drop in the Dark Zone. But anything you gather in the Dark Zone prior to extracting it can be stolen from you if you're killed.
Oh.
So as you're going through the Dark Zone, there are PvE side missions, there are PvE events that take place in the Dark Zone that you can participate in. And if you do, you're going to get good loot. Once that loot drops, if you want to
People
keep it,
You
you
run
have to
around
get
and
to an
ambush you.
extraction zone, and you have to extract it. These extraction zones become like death traps.
Right,
if
because
you're not
anybody's
careful.
going to be waiting. That's like
So-
Hunger Games style.
Yeah, so what you're doing
And-
is you're going
Ugh.
to a certain specified area on the map, and you're calling a helicopter. Helicopter rolls in, drops a line, and you attach your loot to the line. While you're doing that, you're totally vulnerable to fire. And so you have to kind of coordinate, like, okay, 2 people are going to go...
Like team-wise, you have to like
yeah, within
organize.
a team of
Let's
4,
go
like you'll be
extract.
like, okay, let's extract, and you call in the helicopter, and then you post up to defend the extraction point.
And one at a time, you go into the middle and
yeah, and so when the helicopter shows up, it's if you ever try to rush all 4, like, okay, run back, load it up. It takes you like 4 or 5 seconds, and your entire squad
dead.
could get smoked in that 4 or 5 seconds if you're not careful. So you have 2 people watching out while 2 extract, and then you swap.
intense.
And so it is super intense, and it's super cool. There are tweaks that are going to have to be made. I think the risk-reward system of going rogue is going to have to be modified a little bit. Right now, the reward is very high, and the risk is pretty, in my opinion,
I
pretty
felt
minimal.
horrible inside when I went rogue. I felt like dirty boy. I was like, I didn't mean to.
But the risk involved with doing that is pretty low. Like,
I didn't know.
if you go in and you go rogue, it's very easy to screw over someone who worked really hard for their gear. So, in my mind, if you're going to go rogue, they have to create an environment that is like, are you sure you want to do that? Like,
You got to be
because you're walking down a hard path, man. Like, going rogue should be really difficult, and it should be very risky. But the payoff should be huge. Right now, it feels like the payoff's huge, and it's not that risky. And so I think there needs to be some balances that happen there.
Well,
I'll be
next
really
time-
interested in seeing what they do.
I was like, next time I go in, I'm going to go rogue right away. Then I'll be like, let's try this out. Let me see what I can get.
It was. I
advantage
will
of
say
I'll
it.
this.
shoot everybody.
I will say this. It was
I'm
very
horrible at
fun.
that game.
And I really liked the. I love third-person shooters. I thought the cover-based mechanics worked really well in the game.
It did. Actually, it looked really well. Because I remember Uncharted, you kind of hide and you crouch and you can do some of that. But this one was so, like, it was pretty smooth. Like,
It
you'd
feels
hide
fluid,
up.
right?
Yeah, you'd hide up against something, and then wherever your directional pad went, you could hold down X and it would auto push you to, like,
Yeah,
the
it would
next
auto
barrier.
jump you to the next place, and you like hurry.
Right, yeah.
Instead of like kind of moseying over
Right, it
and
w-
taking cover. It's
Exactly.
like-
it wouldn't go back into, like, walk mode. It would be like, this
Oh,
is
that's
sneak
like
mode.
Gears of
Bam,
War.
Bam,
Yeah,
bam. I
very-
liked it a lot.
kind of Gears, like less clunky than Gears of War. It felt smoother than Gears of
It was
War.
pretty.
And it also actually reminded me of, in a lot of ways, it reminded me of Mass Effect 3. And so yesterday, I was in a chat with my Destiny crew, and we're talking, and I was like, I really miss Destiny. I'm going to see if I can still pull up my stats. And I pulled up like all my data from Mass Effect 3. So you can still go in and you can check out all your stats. You can see your loadouts. You can see your characters. And I was like, I was feeling pretty bummed that I traded my PS3 in.
Oh,
Because that game, like,
You can
Mass
borrow
Effect 3
mine.
was so incredibly well done. Like, their multiplayer, what they did better than any multiplayer I've ever played was from, like, a diversity perspective. It's like 6 subclasses with, like, 8 or 9 different alien races
right.
within those subclasses. So you have this huge variety of characters to choose from, and if you're playing on a good team, your powers can complement each other. So, like, if I'm running as an engineer and you're running as an adept, so you're running like a mage and I'm a tech guy, there are certain combinations of powers that will react with each other. So, like, I could cryo freeze someone and you hit them with like a biotic blast, and that will create basically like a double explosion. Like, it will.
It's teamwork.
Yeah, it will basically. I would prime a character, or I would prime an enemy, and you would ignite them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that
And
sounds
so
like what I do every day.
What's really so what's really cool about that though is
Called a
it
fluffer.
it makes these like the teamwork more dynamic, and it makes it more important to be working as a team.
To have a
And I
team.
really like that. And I wish really badly that Destiny had pulled some of those things in there. So the question that everybody has, right, is will the Division kill Destiny?
What do you think?
That's the question out there. I don't think it's going to. I think it will serve as a nice little buffer in between
a
the
release?
next big PvE update for Destiny, which
Okay.
we have no idea when it's going to happen.
Right.
I think it will be a distraction for Destiny players and hopefully keep them fed and keep them feeling good about gaming in general until the next big thing comes out. But they are two totally different games.
Yes.
Like
The
they could
military
not be
tactical stuff.
from a gameplay perspective. They could not be more different.
Yeah, I experienced that. It felt very much more militarized and just technical and tactical.
Right.
Destiny seems a little bit more glossy, just running on your little sparrows and shooting, picking off people. And this one just felt like hide or die. So
Right. I also will say this: if you guys want to watch a really great show that holds up, even though it was made 16 years ago. Wait, not 16, 26 years ago. Holy shit!
You're old man. You're old man.
Dick Tracy holds up. That show is amazing. Seriously amazing.
Dick Tracy with Madonna.
Here's a couple fun facts. It is rated PG. It was made by Disney,
Yeah, I
and
know
you
that.
can see Madonna's nipples.
PG.
Wrap your head around that.
Wow,
gentlemen.
The world we live in has just gone uphill.
I know. How are we living in a
Right?
more clean time than 1990?
I don't understand what's
Shocking.
going on. I do remember watching that in the theaters in Little Wyoming. I remember.
So
it.
if you,
Maybe I
I
should go
watched
back.
it on
What's it on?
the Showtime app,
Okay.
so you can watch it on Showtime.
Dick Tracy of all things. How
It
did
looks.
you
It
find-
also looks better today than it did. Like they've remastered
They
it. It's
redid it.
HD.
Ah,
It looks
think
freaking
that'd be
clean, and it
important.
feels like the stylized nature of the film. Like it feels very modern. Like it feels like it could have been made a couple years ago. It's very
and with
good.
all like the Sin City type stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's very cool. I highly recommend revisiting it. The makeup and stuff is
What did I watch? I watched The
terrifying
Fifth
too.
Element the other day. And
Nice.
That still holds up. I love that show.
I love The
so
Fifth
much.
Element.
Yeah.
That is good.
Oh, also season 11 of Always Sunny on Philadelphia is on FX right now, and I've been watching. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
Although I will say season 10 I think was better than 11 so far. Have you seen any of 11? It yeah.
Season 10's been pretty good. Season 10 was pretty good.
Season 10 was
just don't have time.
Very,
guys.
very
I just
good.
don't have time for
Season
this stuff.
11's first episode was pretty funny. It was Charlie McDennis 2, Electric Boogaloo, and it was fantastic. I'm going to sneeze.
Bus.
Also started watching Breaking Bad for the third time
Really?
because I love it.
See, I just need more time.
just
I think I've seen it 3
watched
times. Pretty
Have you
sure
really?
I've
So
seen it 3
good.
times.
You guys, I
It
just
gets
need
better the
more
more I watch
time.
it. That's all.
I watched The Abominable Bride.
Get better at multitasking,
Ew.
Drew.
I know that's what I got to do, and I think that's part of it. I can't watch a movie while I'm doing other things.
See, I just always have
feel like
something
I'm missing
playing in the
stuff.
background.
Really?
That's just me.
And if it's a show you've watched before, like Breaking Bad, if you're on your 3rd time, then you don't have to pay attention
That's
all
that's
the
You
time.
probably
know.
true.
Right.
You
That's
know
probably
what goes
true.
down.
See, the only
I missed
the
it.
only
you
TV
just watch the
series I
great
can watch
parts.
over and over again is Always Sunny. Like
So good.
if I'm like having a rough day at work, I'll just throw a little screen in the corner and I'll just watch Always Sunny while I'm working, and I feel better
I
instantly.
could
That's
watch Frasier or Seinfeld that way.
Seinfeld, I do that.
Seinfeld's
That's
pretty great.
That's one I've done them all.
All right. Woo!
yeah.
Fun weeks.
Video games.
Yeah,
Let's see.
absolutely. So that wraps up our weeks, right?
Yes.
Dude, I'm off it.
Yeesh.
It's been 2 weeks and I'm tired. My kid's been sick and I haven't been playing a lot, and so my head's all over the place. But I need to get on point, and now it's time for the news.
I got news. Let's start it off with news number 1. I've got a bunch of fast news because there's a lot of newsy things that went on, so we'll just do some fast newses. It's kind of like the Fast Pass at Disneyland. Everyone loves it. Here we go. Open beta for The Division. There's a rumor out there. It hasn't really been confirmed, but there was a slip up on Xbox's Italy Facebook page that there was going to be an open beta February 16th to the 21st. So this private beta was fun. I got like an hour in there maybe. You got a lot more time in the dark zone. That's where you're comfortable, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I
So
thrive.
Xbox gets the first 24 hours exclusive access to that open beta, so that's the 16th. So it's assumed the PC gamers and PS4 gamers will get some access on the 17th if this is a legitimate rumor. We'll be the first to tell you if it is.
Yep.
Because we would love to see in there. Officially, game launches March 8th, so it makes sense to have a bigger, broader beta
Yeah, I think it'll be
before launch.
I mean, by the time this goes live, they're going to be 10 to 15 days out, right? Of
Yep.
Official launch.
Yep.
I guarantee by then the game's gold. It's been sent to press, and this is more of a stress test for their servers.
That would make
Let's
sense,
see.
right?
Let's see how many people we can get in game and keep things running.
That would totally make sense. And that window's just right, because that would give them another 2 weeks to just
Make
make sure.
adjustments if they have to.
Yeah,
Yep.
on server stuff. But I think you're right. All right, number 2 or 1.5, as I have put it in our notes. PlayStation headquarters is moving to California. That's kind of a cool thing.
big.
but it's
actually.
it's big,
Like
but it's
PlayStation US or
like PlayStation
HQ,
like the whole
the whole
PlayStation. Because
shebang.
last week we talked about the news where they separated out outside of Sony in a way. I mean, they're still kind of under the same umbrella, but they gave themselves a little bit more autonomy, and now they're moving that from Tokyo to the U.S. to California. So here's what the article says. This is out of GamesIndustry.biz. Let's see. Business units will be rearranged and merged. Organizational trees will be pruned and spliced. And most dramatically of all, the PlayStation business headquarters will shift from Tokyo to California. News of the change has understandably been mostly shrouded in that special version of the English language spoken only by corporate PR people. You know this language, right? So basically, it's left many of the people and many of the company's customers, even partners, wondering exactly what it all means. But really, it's just kind of a tidying up. And coming to the States gives them kind of just, I don't know, just access to core part of their community.
Right. I would also say, I mean, Sony in Japan is. I mean, Sony is
Japan.
a staple of Japan, right?
Sony is Japan.
That is what it is. But I think the United States is by far their largest player base.
Yes.
Japan has been pretty slow to pick up the PS4, and so from I mean, you want to build where your clientele are, right?
Right,
Doesn't that
be
make
available.
sense that you want to be? You want to be where your biggest fans are, where your most ardent supporters are, and right now that's the United States.
And where your big developers are, like, just it makes good sense for them to be here. So it's a little bit of tidying up. I don't think we'll notice again like a whole lot of difference, other than maybe now that they're on their own, they'll be able to do a little bit more focus on network issues and some other things that have kind of probably just been lost in the conglomerate of business. So it'll be fun to see that. So that's news number 2. News number 3. Fallout 4 has an update coming. So for those of you who are still falling out, they got a 1.3 update. Nothing ginormous on there, I think. Little enhancements to the gameplay, the workshop fixes, stuff like that. Nice and easy. Here's a fun one. I like this. PS Plus Vote to Play returns. We haven't seen that for a month.
Yep.
And so by popular demand, Vote to Play is back on February 9th. So the game with the most votes, as you remember.
my birthday.
That's going to be a big day for everybody. Go vote. If you remember, let's see, the monthly game lineup for the PlayStation Plus members for voters, there's one called Action Hank, Salt Android Cactus, and Broforce. Those are 3 games on the ballot. So if you know any of those games, if you want those to be the free game for March, you can vote starting February 9th. Action Hank's lighthearted racer. You run, jump, and yes, butt slide your way through a host of toy room environments with their past their prime action figures. Salt Android Cactus is already an award-winning twin-stick shooter whose frenetic gameplay is perfect for the couch co-op experience. And Broforce is an action-adventure game that brings to life your memories or imaginations for the younger set of 80s action heroes and their
I was
adventures.
just imagining it was like these bros, like Contra
Go to the
almost,
gym.
only
Yeah,
just
it's like
bros running around.
Broforce. That
They're
is
all-
80 action. 80s
They're all
action
like
heroes.
orange
That's good.
because they're from Jersey Shore.
I don't know. I have not played any of those 3, but of them, butt sliding sounds a lot of fun.
I think more co-op games. I would love more co-op
And
games.
we were talking about that earlier. You know, just like sit here and all of us play
Sharing
know,
games.
something.
same
Yeah.
screen. You know,
Yeah, because
I played a lot of. It's not quite co-op. But I played a lot of Amplitude with my kids.
did you download that?
No,
that
just the demo.
looked
But
pretty fun.
we still played the 3 songs
that
they
game
have.
looked pretty fun when you guys were
Yeah, we
playing
did
it.
enjoy it. We did enjoy it. All right, news number 5, I believe I'm on. The Witness is being heavily pirated. We talked about The Witness last week as one that Rob and I were looking forward to because it's a puzzle gamer.
Yep.
And Jonathan Blow says piracy could impact him making another game. This is out of GamesIndustry.biz again. And this independent developer tweeted, "Seems The Witness is the #1 game on a certain popular torrent site. Unfortunately, this will not help us afford to make another game." Which I think pirators understand that. But I'm
But they
not
don't
so
care.
sure, right? I don't know if they care. Like, they may get it. Like, oh, we might not get to see anything else.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's real to them because
Right?
if you
It's
think about it, when you
disconnect.
were like downloading from Napster way back
Back in
when,
the day.
you didn't even think about
Nope.
the musicians and
Right.
production
How that
costs
affected
and
them.
everything.
I was
yeah.
a foolish youth with
Yeah.
ample gigabytes of audio pleasure.
I pay for everything
And now in a lot of, I
because
mean,
I
now
feel they
in a lot of
deserve
ways,
you can afford it.
Because then I can afford
it. Oh
it.
yeah, you can afford it now. Too.
and I try to. In a lot of ways, though, I mean, on the music side, the whole there's been a huge shift in the way that people, well, a lot of musicians approach piracy. Even like a lot of musicians have said,
There's a spectrum
we'll release our CD. You can pay for what you can afford." And so for a lot of people, that's nothing. Like a lot of
Right.
people will pay nothing, but like that also leads to more participation at live events. So
Right.
when they
Royalties
come,
and
yeah,
stuff.
and so
it's almost turning that trend that a lot of people are now. It used to be you'd push the tours to sell the songs, and now the songs come out and the tours make the money.
Yep.
It's kind of
It's
changing.
kind of interesting.
So this is interesting with The Witness. What he was saying was that basically that it has no digital rights management, and he's kind of avoided that, the DRM issues, because he doesn't like it. But now that he's being a little bit betrayed, right? It's almost like he's putting it out there and people are ripping it off. He says, I'm thinking about it now. I'm glad that more people are experiencing it, but
and
I just
maybe
wanna make
this
a good
can-
game.
Maybe this can become like a little mini topic, but from like an outsider's perspective, like to me, the solution to this is just have it be console based.
because then you
right.
can't grab it on the PC. Yeah, this is an interesting idea.
I mean, if you're an indie developer who's running on a very limited budget and you don't have a lot of assets to be able to throw at development,
start on the console because you
start
know
on
you can't
consoles. Like people have to pay for it, whether it is a PlayStation Plus free game
Right,
that
something.
Sony is paying for, or an indie game that people are just purchasing. If you're concerned with funding and you're concerned with making your money back or whatever it is, that would be an avenue of ensuring that
Or even-
you have that availability.
Or even like mobile gaming.
Yeah.
How much do you think they missed out though? How many people do you think?
I don't
'cause
know.
they're missing a huge audience.
There's a
that
big
they
audience.
choose not to go to.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's true.
then what becomes a concern? Is it
I guess
Is
then
it
you're
the
buying
buzz?
like a pro.
is
like,
it what's
how
more
many people
important to the
buy it? Yeah.
developer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it getting your name out there, or is it?
Which is
Funny.
which is exactly what like the conundrum of the musicians, right? Was
Mm-hmm.
forever is like, is it more valuable for me to get my music out there and get people listening so they show up at my shows and generating buzz, because the more buzz that exists, the more people are going to buy it, which I mean, it sounds like The Witness is doing, right? It's an indie
Kind of.
game that has generated a lot of buzz
Right.
and a lot of people are playing.
And
So
part
for
of
better
that
or
comes from
worse-
his first game, Braid. I mean, that's kind of why a lot of their buzz is there, is because the first one was great, made a lot of buzz, and so the second one's like, let's see what it's like.
Yeah, so I think
Curiosity.
there are definitely pros and cons. I mean, I can understand from the perspective, I think, of a developer to be like, man,
Right?
a lot of people are getting this game for free, and that's frustrating. But I think also if you're thinking it from the perspective, I created this game so that people would play it and talk about it, and right now a lot of people are playing and talking about it, which is going to lead to more sales
Hopefully, yeah.
beyond just PC, right? Like
That's some positive thinking right
people talking about the game leads to more sales on the console.
If
so
I got it,
it's
would
just
be
interesting.
it would be console. But yeah, that makes sense because and I like the way that Blow's thinking about Jonathan Blow is thinking about. I want to be able to make a comparable game next. Like I want to have the funds to be able to do this again for you. So I guess he's kind of just feeling like, how to solve this problem. All right, a couple more news is we got so many, so I'll race through them. Bungie gets a new boss. I don't know if we'll race through that one because that's kind of a big deal. Have you heard a lot of chatter in the Destiny world about the new boss?
Yeah, people are stoked. Basically,
good thing. Harold Ryan stepping down.
Yeah, and the guy stepping in for him is Pete Parsons. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. There's a lot of speculation that the reason Harold Ryan has stepped down is because Destiny 2 or whatever
The
Destiny
big plan.
whatever it is that's
Uh-huh.
next was delayed. So it was supposed to be a 2016 launch, and it sounds like that's been pushed
Right.
to 2017, which probably pissed people off at Activision. Has set development times, and you know, these video games have very strict deadlines and
Right.
timelines that have to be met. In addition to that, I mean, Bungie has not done a very good job of communicating effectively with their community, and there's been a lot of backlash lately.
Do you think they were prepared for this biggest community as came out of Destiny? Do you think they were ready for that?
I
like,
think
large
they were
mass?
ready for the size. I don't know that they were ready or expected the longevity of it.
Oh, right.
Like Destiny still has a very
Yes.
vocal, loud, and large community
Yes.
that is still very invested, and they're pissed that there isn't more to play. Like they're upset that year one content is totally irrelevant. Like it is utterly irrelevant. There's no reason to play it. You can't get anything out of it, except for fun. But like. You can't use any of even the weapons that you get. Like some of the hardest weapons in the entire game to get,
Are worth
the Vex
nothing.
Mythoclast, the Necrochasm, like these raid weapons that were super difficult to get are
Right.
totally irrelevant in year two. And so a lot of people are pissed about it. A lot of people are frustrated with the lack of communication and the fact that we aren't getting information about what's coming next. Like Destiny players are in this weird limbo, and for a lot of people, including myself, Destiny is the game that we've invested more time than any other game we've ever played.
Right.
Like,
You're married to it.
I've talked a lot recently about, and over the last couple of years, about like how much I played Mass Effect 3 and how invested I was. I checked how much time I spent playing Mass Effect 3 yesterday.
Right,
Actually.
you looked at the data.
Under 200 hours.
Wow.
My Destiny time is pushing 1,000 hours,
Wow.
That says something.
and
What does that say, my friend?
it says I have a problem.
What does this?
It says I have a problem.
We
Just
know.
Don't repeat this to my wife. 1,000 hours. That's a lot of freaking time. A lot of time.
What do you got to show for it? Do you have medals or some things you can?
No.
Like, no, you got anything we can hold on
I have
to?
my first platinum.
You do have a platinum? That's
PlayStation
something.
Trophy platinum.
Okay,
That's,
that's
I don't need
credit.
you giving me shit, Drew. I don't need you giving me shit.
That
I'm proud of
I
you,
am
man.
who I am.
I'm proud
Whatever.
Of you. Totally proud of you. I don't think I've done anything for
25
1,000
weeks
hours.
of work, 1,000 hours.
25
So I
weeks
think,
of work. Yeah, wow.
I think it's not 25 weeks of work.
It
It's
is.
12
40 hour
Times
work.
40
40-hour work.
week.
Yeah.
Just forget about it, dude. It was done while other people. Well, I would have been sleeping. All right.
Right.
That's 6 months of a full-time job.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Very proactive, productive time.
It is
You're an
productive.
a-hole. Anyway, so yeah, I think the Bungie change is very good. I think the new CEO coming in, I'm hopeful.
He's been with them
will
for
do a
like
little bit
10
better.
well,
yeah, he's
13
been around
years
for a
or
long
so,
time. I
so
think he
yeah.
was a studio director before, so it's
Cool.
exciting.
Very cool. Very cool. More news. Rachel, do you have anything to say about Ghostbusters?
Nope.
Okay. Video game for Ghostbusters is going to get released along with the movie, so when it comes out, we'll see a game. We could have a whole discussion. We've talked about games and movies together before, and that's kind of what this article was about in Tech Times, was just about how they're going to come out together because they symbiotically like push each other.
I think that would be a fun Wii game.
The Wii game for
That would be
the,
fun.
for the Ghostbusters, I think that could be fun. Don't cross the streams. Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens is coming out, so that's kind of fun. Everyone loves Lego games because they do such a kind of a witty, fun thing with their stories. So the Force Awakens Lego Star Wars is going to kind of feature a little bit of information between the episode 6 and episode 7. So it'll actually have some fillers and some ideas and story in there
Nice.
that'll help it out, I guess, for a little additional insight. And finally, in this one, I'm totally stoked for. This is news number 8. Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro are keynote speakers at the DICE convention. That is, I think that's kind of cool that you'll see both the two of them together, because we were all pretty stoked on PT and what was supposed to be Silent Hills and then the Falling Out. So to see the two of them together on stage, I'm just hoping that at this
Do
keynote
it.
they will say
it.
something
Do
about
it.
like a future project together.
When is that?
So do you guys think they will, though?
February
I think they
8th?
will.
No?
I don't
You're
think
saying
they
no?
will.
You don't think they'll say anything about like
I think you're just being cock
Maybe
teases.
teasers.
I think
Yeah,
that's all.
it was like we could have got together, but we didn't. I
So-
think maybe next time. I think that
It's
they're
gonna
just
happen.
You don't think they'll say, like, stay tuned?
maybe, but I just think that they're showing.
Why not show
their
together?
audience? I just think they're showing their audience that they're still like
A chance.
they're together.
That they're together. That they
But I don't
didn't
think
break
they're-
up. Everybody
But I
else
don't
did.
think they're gonna tease anything.
They got
Man,
kicked
I
out of the
hope
I
house.
think they will.
I hope you're
I
so
wish they
wrong.
would,
Oh.
but I don't think they will. I just think they want to show the world that, hey.
So you don't think with
But I don't think they're
this
gonna
is
say.
this is why I think there's a chance, is that Kojima Studios is brand new now, right? Like
Right.
they're totally separate from Konami, and what better way to like just blow up press
Like,
and
here I am.
Do that.
get people freaking
Yeah.
out is to be like, you may have heard of a game that got canceled that was kind of a big deal, that we did this thing, like. Just stay tuned, guys. Like you don't.
I think they're gonna wait. I
gotta
think
hope
because you're
for that,
right. Because
man.
they're the
fact
press.
that
You're
they're-
right. You're right about the press. But I think they're just gonna. I think they're gonna save that. I think that's like in their back pocket.
Just they're gonna go
Really?
up there and just like laugh and be like, "We're up here, we're up here together, Guillermo. Hey,
Yeah.
Guillermo, we're up here together."
His latest movie
We'll
just
see.
came out on digital whatever.
It wouldn't
Is the
surprise me
Red
if you're
House
right,
Or something.
but
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
hope that
so.
you're wrong because I
excited.
want them to come out and be like,
I wish.
"So we were working on this game together,
I
and
guess
we
we'll
can't
see.
talk
I
about
said,
it
yeah,
because
well-
it falls under my NDA. But what we want to say is that we're good friends, and good friends have
Mm-hmm.
interesting conversations, and we've been having this conversation about this certain hallway that
was such a
we're
good game.
excited about
I never played it.
exploring.
It was good.
We'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that, like, and then just back up from it,
there was so much in that game that we didn't even explore.
right?
It was too creepy.
Tons.
Too creepy.
That was
I
the thing.
can't do it.
Because I
Was it
beat it.
on the show that we talked about? Like, it was like 8 months ago where they found something new in PT.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not too
Yeah.
long
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Like if you look at the bag that you see the little baby fetus in, and then you step away from it, but you stare at the bag as you walk backwards, the ghost reappears right here.
Yes.
creepy.
That
Yes.
game was
I just got
creepy
chills.
as freaking.
There's so many
crap,
little
dude.
things. Like there's this
Can you
one.
imagine that as a Rift game?
Oh.
Even.
Oh,
There's like,
that's the announcement I don't want. I don't want him to come out and be
Right?
like, remember that hallway game? PSVR.
Everybody
and I was
was
like,
excited. You think they're waiting?
"Oh." Like that would just like
No.
that would be too much. Could
That'd
you
be
handle
scary.
a VR game
No
like that?
Freaking
No.
way, man.
Because you're better.
I couldn't even
Of
watch
everyone
them
at this
play.
table, you are the leader when it comes to like the horror games. Like you can
That's
handle.
true.
You're
That's
tougher
true.
than all
She's
of
made
us.
out of
Sometimes.
steel. She's got balls of
Like
steel.
sitting next to Dan, and like Dan's like huddling in your jacket while he's afraid, and you were just like
Dan.
cool as ice, like
But
just
Until
chill.
Dawn, or when was that?
That was for
Outlast.
Oh,
Outlast.
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 I watched that stream.
Yeah.
But like
But VR would be freaky.
VR,
Just because that
holy
hallway,
cow.
that would be so
Oh.
frustrating. It's a whole new experience. Oh,
well, and
it's
what would be
creepy.
crazy is if you could have a screen where everybody like
Watches what
there
you're
could be
watching, yeah.
watching
Yeah.
and seeing what you're seeing, but then you would feel so isolated
Right.
with a VR headset on.
Right.
So like if you could be sharing that experience with the people
Yeah.
around you, but like I mean, you've got that thing has headphones on it too,
Yeah.
so like you're totally isolated from
Which
the
is the
group.
freaky part.
And that's that's
Oh,
what's
that would be so fun.
terrifying.
That's why,
Can
like-
you imagine playing with other
Then you
people
get someone that
and they poke you?
grabs you mid
Oh,
game or
so they know
something.
something's coming, and you're like scared and looking around, and then all of a sudden like, oh, dude, that would
You
be.
crap your pants right there.
Awful.
Yep, I would be the one. I'd
Oh
totally
my
do it.
gosh.
Speaking of, in the works for the LBK crew, this is a little tease of our own. We have found somebody with the Rift, several of them in fact, and so we're planning an LBK field trip. I don't know when it'll happen, but when it does, we'll record a show where we all get to play with Rift. This person is, I think, Salt Lake area, but they have 9 vendor-style rifts that we can climb into, and I will get in for 30 seconds before I vomit. But I will watch you guys all play, and I'll
Is that
follow it
is
from
that
behind.
the where they're developing the VR like theme parky thing? There's
It's
one-
it's
there's
the
one
Void.
in-
No, it's different than the Void.
Okay.
I think because the Void is also that kind of. You've heard of the Void, both of you? No, yeah. Down there, it's a one. I don't know of any other place like it, but they've got the VR helmets and the
Was
space.
this Roger Allitzer?
I don't remember.
It's got to be.
It's
That's
possible.
gotta
It's
be.
Anne's friend.
It's at
so
the
yeah.
University of Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so the Void is one where you actually are inside the space, and it's mapped to the VR helmet. So while there are physical elements and steam and heat and heat lamps and things, you experience things visually that are not there, but you touch
would
things
be-
that are there,
that would be
like
rad.
elevators and other things that are inside of this physical space.
Oh,
That's
wow.
down in Salt Lake too. We ought to.
They're not
make that
open yet,
happen.
are they?
No, they're still beta testing.
So is that the augmented reality zone
Void.
that Roger Allitzer
No,
talks about?
well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he's tied into it.
So
or
he's
not. Maybe he
the
is.
he's the what does he teach? He teaches not video game development, but like he is like in charge of the University of Utah's video game program.
Yes.
like the entire.
This is the
program.
right guy. Yes.
And that's Anne's friend.
Yes.
So
He's down with us coming to do a show and play with his toys.
he's really cool. I've spoken with him several times.
oh, good.
Yeah, like
And Robin
my-
has too, I think. So
My senior seminar final piece I did with him.
excellent.
So
Yeah,
he's a cool guy.
it'll be like a play date for us, but without kids.
Whee!
Perfect.
Yay.
So that's coming up. Another thing to put on your radar is our 100th episode, which is still about 20 episodes off, right? 15 episodes off. But for our 100th, we're going to rent out a theater and record a show at the theater and play games on the giant screen.
Yeah.
So that's
be fun.
coming up. That'll be super. I started that ball rolling.
We
today.
can't use my PS4 because the Bluetooth connection on the controller is jacked up. So we'll
You have to
use
wire
someone
every
else's,
time.
Unfortunately,
All right, we'll figure it
Oh,
out.
that sinks.
We'll figure
I
it
got
out.
one.
I
You
learned
got
that
one?
by
You
raiding.
got one?
I learned
Yeah,
that by
we-
raiding in Destiny, and like there's a part in the King's Fall raid where you're jumping from like
Right.
these ships to ship.
Okay.
And I jump, and then I just started spinning a 360, and I was like. and I just kept dying. I was like, "What the hell is going on?" So I bought a new controller. Same thing is happening. I was like,
Oh no!
did I just buy a jacked up controller? Nope,
Nope.
Bluetooth's jacked up.
On the machine
Oh, can you
itself.
fix it?
Get in there and wiggle
Yeah.
it around a little bit or
I
something.
just plug it in. It's whatever. I don't know. Anything else we need to cover, guys?
New releases and we're out.
Oh yeah.
Sweet new releases.
I like our musical intros. By the way,
Yeah.
they're pretty
Yeah.
cool.
They're pretty cool.
For PlayStation 4, we have Gravity Rush Remastered AIPD, Albedo, Eyes from Outer Space, Amazing Discoveries in Outer Space, Crypt of the Necro Dancer, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. Sleuth?
Yeah, the
That's
sleuth.
a weird word. Lego Marvel's Avengers, this is demo. Mega Dimension Neptunia 7.
Heck is that?
There's some good ones in here today.
Nitro Plus Blasters, Heroine's Infinite Duel, and then Not a Hero. And for PlayStation 3, we also have the Lego Marvel's Avengers.
Some hefty games in there for the PS4, like some mouthfuls.
Let's have a vote. Should we just lose PS3 new releases?
Because
Yes.
Doesn't
there's
make
not
any
that
sense.
many new
Does that-
things.
I don't feel like it makes
Releasing.
sense to even cover it.
It did like a year
Let's
ago.
just kill it.
All right,
Yes.
Kill it.
done.
We
Show
killed the
producer.
Vita.
PlayStation 3, you're
Executively
dead.
decided.
Oh. And then the
Dead to
Vita,
us.
we have Crypt of the Necrodancer, Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Royal Defense.
Someone needs to talk about these guys about the names they give their games.
Right?
It's because they're directly translated from
That
Japanese.
probably is part of it.
Okay. The digital classics we have.
I just use Google Translate.
If there's this, AIPD, Albedo, Eyes from Outer Space, Amazing Discoveries, and a lot of them are just from the PlayStation.
Yep. Most of them are the same.
Yep.
Very cool.
I don't know, and none of those are really like I can't even recognize
What's
except for
Not a
Gravity Rush
Hero?
Remastered,
Not
which
a
I
Mega
think Robinson
Dimensional
is-
Neptunia 7.
That one sounds
That's a
out to you.
winner.
You're gonna grab that one.
It's a winner.
Grab it.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has officially been episode 86 of the Little Big Cast. Thank you for joining us. If you liked the show, we would love to have your support at patreon.com/littlebigcast.
Yes.
We do a little bit of, podcasting for your oral pleasure, and we would love it if you'd...
I love that
you
you
know,
just said
if you-
oral pleasure.
Yeah,
we do. We do.
If you want to donate a little bit to keep the cameras rolling and the microphones hot, we would love that. If not, we're going to keep doing it anyway.
Yep.
Your support means a lot to us.
Shout
and
out
helps
to
us
our
feel good.
to our patrons out
Jeff
there.
pleasures me orally.
I try.
Casey
I try.
and Matt and Mike, they're supporting us with our Patreon. They're making it happen. They're making it real.
Woo!
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We appreciate it. And for everybody else, thank you for listening. My name is Jeff Hawks. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Hawks. With me, as always, Miss Rachel Hernandez,
I am Pirachel with 3 instead of an E.
Mr. Glenn Wiggum,
G Wiggum on the socials or Wigs9703 on the games.
And me, Night20, which is the KNITE20 on just about everything.
everywhere.
Everywhere you can find me.
And you can follow me, Mr. Hawks, on PSN. So,
Shout out to our producer upstairs pushing all the buttons. If you haven't seen,
Risha!
there's Alicia up there. If you haven't seen our show on YouTube, it's actually kind of fun to see our faces. We are good-looking people.
some of
Most
us.
of us.
Yeah, okay. So.
And shout out to the missing member of our crew today.
oh yeah, we never even said where she
Robin!
was.
Oh yeah, Robin.
is away on
She's
adult
doing
business.
worky adult stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's doing things for the university.
She's entertaining a potential job candidate for, for a colleague.
Kind of what you were doing.
To
and
her.
we were doing.
You were
about a
wooing.
year
When
ago.
exactly when I brought
Trying to
we
get
lured
her to
her.
come work here.
Yeah, we're doing the
Kind of
same
interesting.
thing. We're doing the same thing. So
Very
I gotta
cool.
do that tomorrow.
So anyway, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Night night.
Good.
Goodbye.